What's going on, guys? How you all doing? My name is Jason Joseph, and I do uh, I do a lot of Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies content on my channel called Play by Play with JJ. But today I have a very awesome guest. Okay, so my friend Symone. All right, so she is a reporter for ESPN. Plus, she also does play by play as well. And she's like all over the place, man. She really is. She does. She has her own YouTube channel. Go follow her at Symone with the Sports. I made sure that I posted that on my live chat. And she's also a co-host for Birds of Broad Street. And there's so many things I could say about her, but she's right here. What's going on, Symone? How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good. We got training camp next week, so it's a very exciting time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, it is a really, really exciting time. I've been following your channel for like over the last like couple of years, and I just wanted to say first, like before like we get started and talk a little bit about the birds, I just want to say thank you so much for not only a like doing this with me, but also b for honestly being an inspiration for me and inspiring me to to get into the field and to also start this channel. I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, just thanks for watching. I just try to, put the content out there, stay consistent. It's a grind, but it's very rewarding. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
I do have to ask you real quickly because I know that you like to use the term you use it and you say it like it's a what is it, a bullshit, like that's kind of like how you say it. I hope I kind of did that right. But I have to I have to call you out on something because I saw on the so I saw on your live stream the other day. You were at the Braves game. You were at the
Uh-huh.
Braves like when they were playing against the Phillies. But I wanted to get like an explanation from you because because you said that Phillies fans are like you said that Phillies fans are the most toxic like out of all like the Philadelphia fans. Like is that correct?
Yes, so we know how the Philly fans as a whole get the whole stigma of being, a toxic fan base, toxic sports city. But I feel like the rankings of toxicity is Phillies, Eagles. I really don't think Sixers fans are toxic.
I don't think so
But if I
either.
have to rank it, I would say Phillies, Eagles, and then Sixers. I feel like the Phillies fans
Damn.
are the most trash talking fan base.
Honestly, I'd say now they become more of the most trash talk because I think that the expectations for them is just to go out there and win the World Series. So I guess that I can kind of understand your point from like that sort of perspective. But yeah. Yeah. No, that was that was something that I caught like the other day and I was like, "Huh, like I have to make sure I ask her about this because I wanted to make sure that I got that correct." Um
Yes, you got it correct.
yeah. All right, cool. Um that's so funny. That's wild. Um Yeah, and I also wanted to ask, because you're also like a big Sixers fan too. I've been watching the whole Tyrese Maxey, uh, the whole Tyrese Maxey video. I've watched it on replay so many times. Just describe like how much Tyrese Maxey really does mean to the city of Philadelphia, and just how special that video truly was.
Yeah, that video, I mean, it almost made me drop a tear. It was so emotional, and I feel like I've never really seen anything like that.
Wow.
Usually, you see stuff like that on when a player is like retiring, like on the back end of a player's career. So to see
Yeah.
them put so much effort and so much love into, his first big contract, his first contract extension, it just shows how much he means to the organization, not just to the team, not just to the teammates, not just as a player. It's just how much he means as a person to the organization. And we've just seen like how he is with the team, how he is with his teammates, how he is with the fans, how he is with the media. Like he's just so gracious, so personable. So it was great to see him just get all those flowers, and then just seeing him and Embiid interact and all the things he had to say about Embiid. I think that was really a really great tone setter. I feel like for the off season and just going into next season getting that palette refresh.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I got emotional when I saw his grandma on there because I know that I know that him and his grandma have like a very, very tight relationship, and he's a very humble person and like loves taking naps with her. Like he talked about that like on the podcast. But it also I got a little bit emotional when Joel said that you're my favorite teammate, or
Yeah,
sorry, he said you're the best teammate I've ever had. That I
yeah,
thought was really, really special. So I wanted to make sure I asked you about that because I know that you're a Sixers fan too, and that like I've been watching the video still like on repeat, and it still just brings a smile to my face. It really
yeah. It
does.
was a big surprise. Like I said, I haven't seen anyone do basically set up a whole museum like that. I haven't seen anyone do that, so it was a big surprise. Like when I clicked on the video for the first time.
Yeah, I didn't know like what to expect, and even when Rich Paul said that out of all his years, like he's never seen anything like that. That was just a big credit to me, to Josh Harris, and to Daryl Morey, and for all the PR people that put that whole thing together. It
Yeah,
was really, really special. Um, so yeah, so let's get into some birds talk. Um, the so I wanted to ask you a couple of things. The first question that I wanted to ask was just from an overall off-season perspective, if you were to give Howie a letter grade, what would it be and why? Just based off of the draft, just based off of all the moves that they've made during the offseason, how would you grade Howie Roseman's performance?
I hate to sound like, cliche or whatever, but I give him an A+. I mean, he addressed all the needs I feel like we needed to have addressed, starting from the coaching staff, to the draft, to free agency. I mean, he got right to work. I feel like we checked every single box that we need to check, and we still have time. Still some weeks left before we hit the season. We know how he likes to make a move at the buzzer, and we still have a little wiggle room, a little cap room to still sign somebody if training camp, if a certain position group is lacking, or if we start the season, if a certain position group is lacking. So I feel like overall, I give Howie an A+. There's not a single thing that was on my checklist that he didn't address. So it's an A+
A
for me.
plus.
Now everything just has to gel. The coaches got to do their job. Everybody else has to do their part. The players that we got have to perform. But as far as general manager duties goes, Howie did his part.
Were you surprised that Nick Sirianni stayed?
No, I wasn't really surprised. I honestly would have been probably more surprised if he left. During the season, I'll be flip flopping because I'll be emotional during the game. I'm emotional. I'm gonna say something. Next day, I'm
Of
still
course.
emotional. I'm gonna say something. But emotions aside, I feel like did Nick Sirianni mess up last season? Yes, but the players ride for Nick Sirianni. Like when we've signed some free agents in the past, a lot of them coming from the Colts, they've always said, "Oh, Nick Sirianni." They've had nothing but amazing things to say about Nick Sirianni. We saw when AJ Brown was doing his media strike, and then when Nick Sirianni was under fire, AJ Brown broke his media silence just to clear Nick Sirianni's name. We heard Fletch, we heard Jason Kelsey, legends, just talk about Nick Sirianni and what he means to the team. So I definitely feel like he has a strong bond with the players. And I think that that's one of the big reasons why we kept him, not for a lot of other reasons when it comes to skill sets. But I feel like we did what we had to do with going and getting veteran play callers, letting Nick know that this is Kellen Moore's offense. You need to take a step back. It is going to be interesting to see how it pans out because, okay, yes, you have the respect of the players. The players love you. They ride for you. But, if we start winning on the backs of Kellen Moore, it's going to be
Yeah.
like,
Right. Yeah.
that should be somebody else's spot at head coach. So it is going to be interesting to see as the season unfolds what his value remains for the team if we're winning and, if we're winning because of Kellen Moore and, So that's going to be an interesting storyline to continue to monitor. But I definitely think keeping Nick Sirianni was the smart move. The players ride for him. He has the players' backs, obviously. The players like him. So just when it comes to the chemistry, because that's one big thing we need to keep going in the next season, like building some chemistry, I think keeping him was a good move.
I think that also, like, to kind of piggyback off of your point, I think that Nick, like looking back on it, it's really hard to understand things in the heat of the moment. I think that Nick was put in a really tough spot. I really do. I think that when Shane left, we all knew that the offense was going to look different, and it was just like they were they were finding ways to win, and I felt like that even with the situation, I really thought that things were being swept under the carpet. But even though they were able to somehow still find ways to win, um, things were just a little bit awkward because it was like they were winning, but something wasn't adding up. And then as
Yeah.
soon as they lost to the 49ers and as things went on the downhill, it was sort of just really odd how things just unfolded. And then you had getting rid of you had Matt Patricia taking over for the defensive coordinating position, and I just thought that it was just a whole like meltdown at the end of last year. But
Yeah.
but I mean, in regards to just this season, I definitely have to also agree, and I think that Howie has done a really good job on paper trying to get the team back on track. I am curious to see how all the pieces are going to fit together. But um, just from an offensive line perspective, obviously you're not going to have Jason Kelsey, and Cam Jurgens is, as of right now, going to have to fill into his shoes and play the center position. Do you feel comfortable with that?
I feel like anytime I get asked this question, I kind of had the same response. It is what it is at this point. So, like,
Yeah.
a wise man once said about a year ago to me, he said, it is what it is at this point, Queen. And that really has freed me up in a lot of different aspects of my life. Like, Cam is all we got, and Cam is all we gonna need. So, like I said, on paper, Cam has been studying up behind Kelsey. He's been learning from Stoutland. He's been playing alongside Kelsey. He's been in the room. He's been in the system. He's soaked up all the knowledge. He was the one that we wanted coming out of college when we thought Jason Kelsey was retiring sooner.
Right.
So I have all the utmost confidence in Cam Jurgens, and I don't have a reason to not be confident in him right now. Now, next week, that's when we really gonna start seeing some stuff when we get to training camp. But I feel like as of right now, I have the utmost confidence in Cam because I don't have a reason not to.
Yeah, I I agree with that for sure. Is there something like in particular that you're going to be looking for as training camp goes on besides Cam, like at the center position?
Hold on, give me 1 second because I gotta
Yeah,
turn my.
no worries, no worries. Take your time. Take your time. No worries.
Because I don't know why my laptop's not charging. You said what? I'm
That's not.
sorry. Repeat the question.
No, no. I wanted to ask if there's like any other sort of things that you're going to be looking out for, like as training camp comes.
I feel like my biggest concern right now is the linebacker room. I feel like Devin White was a big addition. Great move. Great move. We know his peak is Pro Bowl and could be even better than that. He's still youngish. He's still in the realm where he can improve, but he did have a fall off last season. He was given a little attitude last season, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But again, we got to see stuff at camp. But I feel like outside of Devin White in the linebacker room, we just have question mark after question mark after question mark. Nakobe Dean is a question mark. Again, potential, but we waiting on that to untap. Health wise, we're waiting on that to untap. We got Zach Bond, who Vic Fangio was saying, "Oh, I like what I see from Bond. He looks like a inside linebacker, but he was a special teamer primarily in the past." So that's a question mark. Who do we have behind? Oh, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., great prospect, amazing daddy. You know what I'm saying? But we don't. It's still a question. He's still a rookie for one. So a big question mark. And then the other linebackers in the room is not sticking in my mind right now, which gives question mark. So I feel like the linebacker room has a lot of question marks. When we look at the defense and we look at the offense as a whole, not every group is going to be strong across the board. Just as a whole, you just want a strong defense. So
Right.
if I had to pick out anything on defense, it's the linebacker room. And
Yeah.
we know that was a problem last season, the middle of the defense getting attacked, yada, yada, yada. But I'm confident up front. I'm confident in the secondary. And again, these question marks can turn into Pro Bowlers. Like, they're just a
Right. I
question
was
mark
gonna
to me
say.
right now.
Right.
Offensively, it's the same in the tight end room. I feel like outside of Dallas Goedert, is some questions at tight end. And
Yep.
given the fact that Dallas Goedert seems to get injured, whether it's a freak play or not, it just seems like the past couple of years, Dallas Goedert does get hurt. So tight end depth is always going to be a question. But again, offense as a whole, I'm loving it. And again, every position group isn't going to be fire.
Right.
But I think as the offense as a whole, I'm comfortable. Defense, again, outside the linebacker room, I'm very comfortable in the defense. And again, not every room is going to be, Pro Bowler, A plus. But as long as we average it out into something, but linebacker and tight end to answer your question.
Yeah. Linebacker to me is an interesting position too, because I also think that Josh Sweat is going to be somebody to look out for as well. I think that he's going to have, a better season this year. I think that in some ways it was really hard for him last season to just be able to like break through and be able to get like a lot of sacks. But I think that he's somebody on my mind this year that's going to have a better season. And I'm curious in like how Vic Fangio's defense, everything is going to look, because that's something that, if we can say on paper that he's gonna bring more people in the secondary, and he's gonna have other guys step up there. But I'm just curious to see how the linebackers perform overall under his new defensive scheme too.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like this is gonna be a really exciting preseason, real exciting training camp. A lot is gonna be shown. Like I said, I feel like we have a lot on paper, but again, it's gonna be time for us to see it gel, and that's why I'm excited. I feel like this training camp is going to show a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, what's obviously when you look at Jalen, right? Like this is going to be a really big season for him. What is something that you want to see him do better at this season than he did last year?
I feel like obviously the turnovers.
Yeah. I know.
We have to limit the turnovers. The turnovers is definitely a big thing. Some of them, of course, I hate, I ain't gonna be doing no capping or whatever. I gotta keep the same things I be talking about other quarterbacks doing. I gotta keep the same energy.
You got to keep the same energy.
I gotta keep the same energy with Jalen.
I feel that.
Turnovers, it's gotta stop. And I feel like some of the turnovers were, forced. Like,
Yes,
for
sure.
trying to force feed the situation. I feel like a lot of the turnovers I saw from a mile coming. I saw coming from a mile away. I feel like a lot of the decision making was off. Throwing in a double coverage, underthrowing, forcing the ball into some people's, trying to force the ball to some people. So yeah, the decision making was one of my biggest concerns last year.
Yeah, that was one of mine too. But do you think that injuries were also part of the reason why he turned the ball over as many times as he did?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Go for it. I love honesty, obviously. Yeah.
Obviously, we saw a lapse in his like explosiveness, and we saw a lapse in his running abilities. I feel like that had to do with injury, because last season we see him take off. It just seemed like his takeoffs, scrambling, it just seemed so slow, and that's what I think was injury, like conscious. Probably being conscious in the back of his mind, or hesitating a little bit, because it seemed like sometimes he was moving through molasses. I think that was injuries. But when it comes to decision making, that ain't got nothing to do with your foot or your knee, or that ain't got nothing to do with injury. I don't know what the lapse of decision making. Like what I said when with what I'm saying, because like I said, I saw a lot of throws where it's like, who did you think was going to get that ball but the defender? Like, who else was going to catch that but the defender?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you watching on TV, things look different, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think the decision making, I don't think some of the turnovers had to do with injuries. I don't see how it could have anything to do with injury, but I could be wrong.
No, that's see. I go back and forth with people on this thing too, because when you're talking about just like throwing wise, like yeah, I can understand that maybe you don't have like the it's nothing to do with like arm accuracy, but maybe you don't get like as much oomph, like because there's like a little injury. But I don't really think that has like as big of an impact when it comes to throwing the football as to obviously running with the ball.
Yeah, me
so
too.
I look at it more from that perspective, but I know that other fans look at it from a lot of other perspectives.
Two, taking all them god dang sacks. Like,
yeah.
See,
you got to throw it away.
Months ago, when were we done? We were done playing in January. It's July. You're making me think of some demons, some past demons that I don't forgot about.
I know.
But yeah, I forgot about all those sacks. There were a million sacks that were taken that I felt like he could have thrown the ball away.
Yep.
Holding on, the ball was stuck in his hand. That has nothing to do with injury.
No.
And you would think if you were injured, you would be throwing the ball away faster. Like you would think it'd be like snap. Whoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could see that even more. Like if he wasn't even getting to play a chance. Not taking all those sacks. That's decision making too. Throwing into those double coverages and taking all those sacks, in my opinion, that has nothing to do with an injury. Throwing the ball, there was so many plays where we were just digging ourselves in the hole because we were taking unnecessary sacks. And if you know you're a little bit slower now because of injury, then you know you're not running away from homeboy. So throw the ball away. But I say all that to say, I feel like those are the easiest things to fix, in my opinion. We hear them talking about reads, going through the reads. You hear some people talking about the accuracy, deep ball. Those are the hard things. Throwing the ball away and not throwing the ball in double coverage and not trying to force feed AJ or Quez Watkins. Those are easy fixes. So I'm confident in seeing the improvement.
Well, now they don't have to worry about Quez this year. But no, I totally understand. I totally understand like what you're saying. I totally get it. Saw yesterday about Saquon Barkley, and of course I've been keeping up with the Hard Knocks and everything. How do you feel about that?
I love it. I've been loving Hard Knocks. I feel like it's been highly entertaining. I'm surprised we're getting all this. It's been great for me. It's been a show every week, something to talk about. Yeah. So I've been loving it. I'm not surprised because, a lot of these front offices, they're not ran like ours is ran.
Yeah, that's true.
I felt like that one episode where they showed the phone conversation between Saquon and their GM, and Saquon was so dry on the phone. Yep. I just knew that phone call was cringy.
Yeah, it was.
It was cringy. So you just know behind the scenes, it's just been boiling up.
It's like so weird because sometimes like
it was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is going to fuel Saquon even more to go off this season, go off on the Giants. You see AJ Brown and some of our players are fired up watching it, seeing what, some can see as disrespect to Saquon Barkley. They told him, go test the mark, go see what you're worth and come back, basically saying you ain't worth nothing. You're going to be right back. And, surprise, we were right there waiting.
Yeah. The whole phone call thing, it also made me cringe too, because it makes me, you ever like have like those like uncomfortable like conversations with somebody, and it's like you don't like want to have that conversation, and it's like you're trying to come up with like you're like you're doing some small talk and you're
Yeah.
sort of beating around the bush.
Hmm.
That's exactly what that was. And
That's
I think
exactly
that
what that
everybody
was.
knew.
And
It
he wasn't
was,
here for it at all. He was like, let's go ahead and get to it. And
yeah,
once he said, all right, we're just gonna let you test, boom, boom, he was just like, all right.
yeah, yeah,
Because he already
no,
knew that was coming.
yeah. That's I could see it coming like from a mile away, but it's funny to me how even like in professional sports, that's how it goes too. Makes you
Yeah.
really think about it from like a business perspective and how conversations go on and all that type of stuff. But I'm happy Saquon's here. Um, what are you looking forward to out of him this season?
Man, oh man. I'm looking forward to one, him staying healthy. I feel like Saquon
Yeah.
gonna stay healthy this year. I feel like MetLife, we know MetLife, that field is busted.
Ugh, the turf stinks.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
imagine having to play your career at MetLife. You play in there 8, 9 games a season at MetLife. Like,
Yep.
but just the explosiveness, this next level that this offense can take with Saquon Barkley, all the creativeness we can have. I want to see Saquon Barkley getting those touches, getting heavy touches. I feel like with DeAndre Swift, sometimes we were holding him back. We wouldn't let him be fully unleashed. But I feel like with Kellen Moore now, he's going to get creative. He's going to unleash everything. So I'm really excited. I feel like Saquon, obviously he's from the area and whatnot, but when we were at the softball game, Saquon looked so happy. Like, I just feel like he's just so happy to be here. I mean, he said he's happy to be here, but it also
Right.
shows just on his face. So I'm really excited. I feel like this season, I feel like this offense, it's gonna be crazy. Like, we had
Yeah.
the pieces last season. We had the ability. We were holding ourselves back with play calling and a lot of
Sure.
bullshit. But this
That's
season,
absolutely
I just feel like it's gonna be unleashed. We're gonna get back to that 2022 season where like every game was just so much fun to watch. Last season, obviously, every game was stressful. But
yes.
yeah, I'm excited. I feel like Saquon gonna go off. I feel like we're gonna get creative. I feel like Kellen's gonna get creative. I feel like Kellen Moore is getting slept on too. Um,
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I like how Saquon can actually block. I
yeah.
think that that's going to be really, really cool to see too, because it gives the Eagles more sort of deceptiveness on the offensive side, and defenses are not going to always understand like how to predict what they're going to do on offense. And I definitely feel like that's going to be something interesting to look out for as well. Um, did you like the Will Shipley pick? And do you think that he can make an impact on the or yeah in the running back rotation?
I really like Will. I'm an ACC. I went to NC State, so I'm an ACC girl. Clemson is our
Yes, sir.
rival, so you
Yeah.
know. But yeah,
Yep.
Will is like, he's just a Swiss Army knife. I feel like he's the perfect complement to Saquon Barkley, a running back that can do it all. I feel like could potentially be an upgrade over Kenny Gainwell.
Yep.
He's a little bit smaller, but he's just so shifty. He's a great pass catcher. So I think Will is going to be a good, like, lightning complement to Saquon Barkley's thunder and a good like
Right.
change of pace in the running back room. So I'm excited to see Will at training camp too. I think that's going to be a nice little battle there. We wouldn't have drafted him 4th round if we wasn't expecting him to come in and compete for running back too with Kenny Gainwell. So I don't think it's
Right.
just Kenny gonna walk right in and get all the touches he was getting last season. It's a new
Right.
sheriff in town with
For sure.
Kellen, and it's a new running back in town with Will. So we're gonna see.
Yeah. For sure. The one thing that I thought that what made the Eagles so great in 2022 was that they put up such long drives. Like
Mm,
they really won a lot of battles with the clock. And last year, I didn't really feel like that was necessarily the case. And part of the reason why the defense was not as good last year. I mean, there were a lot of reasons why, but when your defense is out there for a lot more time than it was even last year, or even compared to like the year before that, people are going to get tired. And I
mm,
think that this year, with overall how they look on offense, I expect that we're going to put up longer drives. like 7 to 8 minute drives. And I think that would be really, really good for our defense.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times last season we was either turning the ball over, somebody was turning the ball over, or
Yeah.
we needed to score quick because we was in some terrible situations. So we couldn't even have the benefit
Yep.
of being the clock eaters. We was getting 8 on.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I'm interested to see how during the 2 minute drills the offense is going to look, especially towards the end of games. That's something that I'm going to be looking for. But I wanted to shift back over to the defensive side of the ball. Okay. When you look at the secondary, obviously you have Reed Blankenship and CJGJ at the safety positions, which can definitely be a threat. Zach McPherson, still Eli Ricks out there as well. Sidney Brown, I think, is going to be interesting. I don't know. Did they give a report as to when he's going to come back?
Not that I've seen. I just saw him saying he was healthy. I didn't see an official report though.
Okay. And then I heard that there were talks about potentially moving James Bradbury from corner to safety. Is that going to happen?
I don't want to see it happen. I don't want to see any experimenting with Brad. I feel like now, why would we need to do that? We have plenty of competition at safety. We have competition at corner. If he's going to be on the roster, that's fine. But we don't need to be experimenting or whatever. He'd just be a depth piece at corner. I don't know why we would need to move him to safety. Maybe they're just experimenting. Maybe later in the season, if it's injuries or boom, boom. But one thing we knew from last season is Brad is not going to be hitting nobody. He's not going to be tackling. He's not going to be doing none of that. So how is he going to be playing safety if he's scared of tackling?
That's how I feel too. I've just heard reports that.
No, I did see those reports too, but I didn't like them.
Yeah, no.
But maybe it's a scenario where they're just in the event of injury or whatever, we have that versatility.
Right. Yeah, and I guess that kind of makes sense, but I mean, just after watching him last year, I was like ready to move on from him. But obviously, who's going to want to take him? That's the thing. I mean,
they'll surprise you. I saw some. You always see somebody, and it's like, why? And it's always somebody, waiting up. Surprisingly, it's some worse DBs in the league.
Yeah, that's true.
Brad. I saw the Falcons was interested in him.
Really?
Helping up I saw the Falcons were. Somebody else was too. It was the Falcons and another team that were interested in Brad. So yeah, it surprised you.
That's how it goes sometimes though, like in the business. Sometimes like when you're just a fan, like you watch like your team and like whatever, and then you see like how bad they are, and then it's like, well, some other teams might actually still take him because he still has high value. Like Ben Simmons, for example, when he was on the Sixers. So that was in regards to the cornerbacks, all right, how do you like the depth with Darius and obviously Cooper and Isaiah Rodgers? How do you like the depth? And
I love the depth. We went from no depth, question marks, getting burnt, giving up big plays, to loading up the room with a lot of talent. I feel like I couldn't ask for any better depth in the cornerback room right now. Training camp, it's going to be hard slimming that room down. Like, I'm trying to tell y'all, training camp is going to be a movie. Wow. Like, we need a whole documentary on this. We could put a whole documentary.
Can we have a Hard Knocks on it?
Right. On the quarterback. No, I need real time though. Like, I'm not trying to wait to see it next year. Like, I need.
Oh well, yeah.
I need live.
Like a live.
I need live daily
I feel
updates because it's gonna be hard shaving down that cornerback room. It's a lot of talent in the room, a lot of young potential in the room too. Because we have some older heads, and it's gonna be time to reboot that cornerback room. And we have some young talent in the room, like a Riggs, a Ringo. And you want that talent to be there, be able to develop. But at the same time, we win now mode. We got to have room for Rodgers. We got to have room for Slay. We obviously keeping Brad as of right now. But overall, the cornerback room, obviously our worst room, I feel like last season, just secondary as a whole was one of the worst units, and now is strong. So I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm excited that Avante is back too. I'm hoping that
Yeah.
I'm hoping he can stay healthy this year.
Yeah. A lot of people got Avante Maddox getting cut, which is crazy. But I mean, the room is thick. Somebody
I
gotta
know.
go.
I know. But see, that's the type of problem that you want to have.
Yeah, that's a good problem.
That's the definition to me of a good problem. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Huff. I mean, we've talked a little bit about linebacker, but we didn't really get to talk too much about him. They had to let go of Hassan. I didn't like it, but I obviously understood that at the end of the day, it's a business. Can Bryce fill in to Hassan's shoes?
Yeah, I feel like if we have to replace Hassan, if we have to,
Yep.
then I feel like Bryce Huff is one of the best candidates to replace him. He's younger, much younger, so we already checked that box when it comes
Yes.
to a long-term piece. Coming from a great system, coming from a strong defense, so knows what works from him, has that work ethic, been in a winning system, been with a winning team, has that experience, a winning defense, like a defense, not a winning team as a whole, but like a strong defensive core. So he's been learning from a great defensive mind, great defensive coaches, great defensive team around him. So it's not just a guy that was a really good guy that was in a bad system. And then, you take him out and he was like, well, I was a big fish in a little pond. Like this was a big fish with a lot of big fishes. So iron sharpening iron in his room. So he could bring that experience here. He was getting them sacks. The only question I see some people saying is, he was a little bit limited on his snaps with the Jets. And is he going to be able to up that snap load? I think that's what this offseason is for. We see him working out, whether it's stamina, motor, whatever it takes to work on to up that workload, up that production, then there it is. But I like it. I like Bryce. I feel like, again, it's well done on paper. We'll see it on the field. Nolan Smith is going to have to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played Mother May I, when you like Mother May I take two steps.
Course.
He's going to have to take. Nolan Smith, can you take a giant leap? You know what I mean? Not just a step forward, not a 2 steps forward. We're going to need you to take a big jump. And again, that's not saying Nolan Smith can't. We're just going to need him to. And I believe he can. So it's not even Bryce Huff I'm looking at.
Right.
We've seen what Bryce can do. It's really my eyes on Nolan Smith, who we're going to need to.
Nolan. Yeah. I think he's going to have to take another step too. For sure. Absolutely. Floor and like best case scenario for the Eagles this year in regards to wins and losses. Like what do you think like is the lowest amount of wins that they can get this season if you were to put a number on it, and then the highest amount?
See, I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid right now.
Are you?
And I feel like there's no reason why I shouldn't be drinking the Kool-Aid. I feel like last season, like I said, we addressed, in my opinion, we had a Super Bowl roster last year.
Yep.
We just had some rookie coaches.
Yes.
And we know how important coaching is on any level of sports. Yes. We have an even better roster this year. We got some veteran play callers. Some play callers that have been top in their respective has had top defenses, has had top offenses. And this is the best offense that Kellen Moore has had to work with, and he's already had top offenses in the past. Vic Fangio, we've seen what he can do. We upgraded the cornerback room. We upgraded rooms that didn't even need to be upgraded, like running back, in my opinion. We went, locked up our wide receivers, kept our wide receivers happy. We upgraded the wide receiver 3 position, added some competition there too. Brought in a big dog at linebacker. Again, we're gonna see how it works. Did what we needed to do across the defensive line. Got some pieces in place in the offensive line. So I feel like the recipe is all there. We just gotta get in the kitchen and get cooking. So I feel like my high is 14 wins. At least 12 wins.
At least 12. Okay. Mine is at least, I said 10 before, like a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to go up one more. I'm going to say that my low is 11 and my high is 14 for sure. I definitely think that we're going to beat the Cowboys in the NFC East. I don't think anybody is going to touch the Eagles. My question is, though, just the playoffs. I don't know, like, and I don't usually like to compare other teams to us, even though it's so easy to do. I think that we're like, I think that we're in the mix. I don't know if I can put us over the 49ers yet, just from on paper, because I need to see the product on the field. But I definitely think that we're even better than last year for sure.
Oh, I feel like we're leaps and bounds better than last year. Just starting with expertise.
Yeah.
Just starting with expertise, I feel like we're leaps and bounds better than last year. And then when we go and look at the pieces we added, like I said, I'm feeling real confident going into this season. Like, until something showed me I need to be,
Yeah.
Then I'm feeling good.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And yeah, like Drew said, what up, Drew? These other teams, other competitions got drama. Niners, drama.
Yeah.
Little boys, drama. We have a lot of synergy. We have a lot of good stuff going on. They trying to figure out who get paid, who not getting paid.
Little boys.
They got a lot.
I got it. It took me a little bit of time, and then I got it. Now I understand.
They got a lot of drama going on. So, yeah, Detroit, one of them ones. The Rams, they one of them ones. It's some teams out there that's one of them ones. But our main that we usually got our eyes on, come on now. Yeah. They got drama going on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those Dallas sickos, can't stand them. Can't stand them, man. And they have problems with paying CeeDee Lamb and Micah. It's they got a lot of stuff going on over there. I'm happy that we don't have an organization like that, because that is corrupt.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you for doing this so much. Thanks again for coming on here and just talking some birds with me and just, giving me your perspective on things. It definitely does bring like a breath of fresh air to me, because last season did not leave a good taste in my mouth. It really did not. And so, just to hear everything that you had to say definitely brought a big smile to my face. And I do appreciate that.
Of
very,
course.
very
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for having me anytime.
Yeah. No problem. Guys, once again, I'm going to drop the link down below. Please go follow Symone with the sports. And I'm telling you, Symone is the definition of a workaholic and a grinder. Like, she's everywhere. And like, for somebody that like wants to get into the sports field, I look up to that, because that's what it's all about. It's all about trying to find opportunities and taking advantage of everything that comes your way, and also creating your own opportunities. And Symone just does a really great job with that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. All right, that's going to wrap things up here with Eagles Talk with JJ and Symone. I'm Jason Joseph. That's Symone Stanley. We'll catch you all on the next one. Have a good day, guys.